The Boston Celtics are undefeated. They started off their year 4-0, but job's not finished. We will be live tomorrow night against the Indiana Pacers, and we obviously want to move to 5-0 once more. So if you guys want to win the next one, all you have to do is hit that thumbs up button for me. There's no secret the Boston Celtics are off to a hot start, and there's also no surprise that they're doing so, but I don't think we're giving Jayson Tatum enough credit for how he's been playing so far this season. And Allie, I know it's been 4 games. Calm down. This year looks different. Jayson Tatum has improved several aspects of his game, and I want to talk about JT, already making a huge case for MVP pretty early on. Through 4 games so far this season, he is averaging 33 points, 6 assists, about 6.5 rebounds per game. But I want to talk about the shots. Not to mention, the shot selection has been great. But his field goal percentage at 55% and his three-point percentage at 49%. He's knocking them down. And I'm not talking about like a dink and it rolls in. It's nothing but net. His shot looks phenomenal. And I've also noticed that he's become more confident. Maybe that has to do with Larry O'Brien he's been holding all summer long, but he's been coming in clutch more so than I have seen the last year. You guys can go back and watch all my videos. I would always say that I don't think Jayson Tatum should be the guy to be trusted with the final shot. This year, it's giving something different. He secured the win over the Detroit Pistons, which should have been a blowout, but we'll talk about that later, with 2 made field goals, and not to mention, he had a nice step-back jumper to secure that and make sure the lead was good to go. And then if you want to talk about what he did in the season opener, he scored 8 threes in the first half of opening night. The guy was showing off. He was popping off. And then I saw this tweet from Kevin O'Connor saying if Jayson Tatum's jumper is all the way fixed, he's about to have the best season of his entire career. And then I started to really think, okay, he has been in the league for quite some time. He's 26, 27 years old right now. And Jayson Tatum has always been in the MVP conversation, at least the last couple of seasons. And the Celtics have always been a pretty good ball team while Jayson Tatum has been playing for him, making several Eastern Conference Finals appearances, not to mention an NBA Finals appearance. So why now? Why does Tatum decide to fix his jumper now? It clearly worked. You just won the NBA championship. So there must have been a certain personal reason for Tatum to want to come out here and just explode. And that's where I think this is leading. This is what I think Jayson Tatum is actually hinting at, that he is going for the MVP award now. What is now separating him from the greats? What is now the only thing that can happen for Jayson Tatum to finally shut up media outlets asking if Jayson Tatum can finally be him? He's got the ring, and he becomes somehow the most hated NBA player in the history of media this last summer. Not to mention the Olympic snub also just fueled the fire for JT haters. Tatum got the ring, but now he has to reach the personal goals. But he has to do it in a strategic way that won't compromise the Boston Celtics from winning the NBA championship back to back. And speaking of back, let's talk a little while back when Shams Charania kind of hinted at this as well. Talking about the Olympic snub, Shams Charania said Jayson Tatum, he was telling people around USA Basketball, and this was something that people around USA Basketball heard. He really took that motivation from what happened at the Olympics. He has MVP goals in his mind, whether that's this year, but that is fully on his mind as far as what he can accomplish in this league. You look at everything he's done already at such a young age already, winning a championship. That is the next step for him, is to rise to the MVP level. You can't tell me Tatum hasn't had this on his agenda. You can't tell me this isn't on Jayson Tatum's vision board, which is why, in the last couple of years, if you ask Jayson Tatum about his MVP race or trying to win MVP, he quickly throws it away. He's like, it's not about me. I'm all about the team. And he's still like that, but now he's starting to address a little bit, saying that, this is a goal of mine. I want to win MVP. And I think this season is the season that he can actually do it with the way the Celtics are looking. You've got Josh Hart saying drug test him. You got Doc Rivers saying the winning a championship actually motivated them even more. It made them better. And now the sportsbooks odds are starting to recognize that Tatum has been popping off so far this season. And it does help the Celtics, being the hottest team in the NBA, are also now undefeated as well. So, of course, the MVP odds look a little similar to the last couple of years. Luka Doncic, 25 years old, SGA, and the OKC Thunder. But now Tatum is above two very hot contenders. Jokic, who is on a troubling Denver Nuggets team right now, and Anthony Edwards, who is very flashy, very great at what he does. But Tatum's right there in the middle of the pack, and we're 4 games in. You can't tell me if Tatum keeps this level of production up, we could see Tatum a real contender for MVP this year. So I got a question here for you guys. Do you want Jayson Tatum to win the MVP? That should be a resounding yes from everybody that watches this show. So I need to know that. Go ahead and like this video. If we get over 500 likes, then I'll know this is going to be the year that Jayson Tatum is going to win the MVP award. But before we hop into why I think Jayson Tatum is now going to win MVP and what he has to say about it, let me tell you guys about our sponsor here on Celtics Today. I'm talking about Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America with over 10 million active users playing it right now. I play Prize Picks every single game day, not to mention it's also probably the easiest thing about my day. You just pick more or less. That's it. On at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash with as little as 4 correct picks. You guys can get action on the sports in over 30 states, including Cali, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. And look, there's a lot of great sporting events going on right now in crossover season. So for my picks here tonight, I did end up taking a demon, which is going to be this Freddie Freeman, who's been devouring the New York Yankees to have at least more than 1.5 total bases. But the demon is a harder pick, all right? It's a lot harder to happen, but the payout is a lot more. See, a green version of that guy, that's a goblin, easier pick, but the payout isn't as much. And then I will have the Giancarlo Stanton having more than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs to see if the Yankees can stop the Dodgers from sweeping. Oh, it hurts my heart even saying that. So if you guys want to go ahead and get started on Prize Picks, all you have to do is download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Jayson Tatum being in MVP conversations is not foreign. This is not new to Celtics fans. And a lot of times, I really haven't played into it because there is always somebody a little bit better than him in that year. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid. And it's very tough for Tatum to be on a team full of superstars and win the MVP award, which is why I think personally it's hard to even make personal goals for yourself on a team that's that dominant. But when you look back at the MVP conversation, it's the same names getting rotated like a bingo ball. Nikola Jokic is a 3-time MVP winner. Rightfully so. They do not make players like Jokic. Then you have Joel Embiid. He was a 2023 MVP despite not making it to the finals that year. Luka Doncic, he's never won. He made it to the finals last year. You got Luka Doncic in there twice. That's supposed to be Giannis Antetokounmpo. You get the gist. He's never won. Excuse me, he actually did win. This graphic is all messed up. The whole point is Giannis has won, Tatum hasn't won, and Luka hasn't won. We go on. Jayson Tatum is now finally addressing the fact that he would like to win MVP. I think I'm worthy of the MVP discussion. It's a long season. Every time I step on the floor, I feel like I'm the best player. But it's a lot of talented guys in this league. Got to look back at Embiid, Jokic, Antetokounmpo. If it happened, it would be a dream come true. But it wasn't like come back, win MVP. It's like come back and get the championship. And it's going to be very tough for Jayson Tatum to solidify himself as the best player in the league and as the best player on the Celtics, which is a very hard conversation to have anyways with Jaylen Brown on the team. So I've got 3 things that Tatum needs to do from Game 4 to Game 82 to win MVP. Number 1, continue to shoot efficiently. If he keeps it up with this new jumper and he's putting up 30 points a night, he is going to catch the attention from so many media analysts out there if he's putting up 50% from the field, if he's putting up over 40%, 50% from downtown, not to mention that will go hand in hand with helping the Celtics win. And then I do have my second point here is that he has to lead the league in categories. So if you want to have the best effective field goal percentage, if you want to lead the lead in assists as a forward, it's going to be very hard to do that. But something that Jokic does is that he continues to lead the league in numerous categories year in and year out. So does Luka Doncic. So does Joel Embiid. So does Giannis Antetokounmpo. Jayson Tatum now has to be a top 5 player and somehow beat those top 5 players and come out as number 1. And then I think the last thing and the hardest thing here is that Tatum has to figure out how to balance individual and team stats. Because there are going to be nights, for example, against the Bucks last night, Tatum wasn't shooting his best. So Jaylen Brown stepped up and had a 30-piece. Tatum had 15, which isn't bad. But if Tatum's not going to have the ball fall in the basket as much as he would like to, he needs to be rebounding. He needs to be assisting. He needs to be helping his team win. And if Tatum does have a great scoring night, then the Celtics are probably in a good pace to win that ball game. But you can't get selfish and take 25 shots a game. It's going to take away from the Celtics' success, knowing that you have so many other offensive players and defensive players on that team that can get the job done. So Tatum also touched on that. As a kid, you set a lot of goals for yourself. And I've been very fortunate enough to check off a lot of those boxes of things that I wanted to accomplish. Things my favorite players accomplished. And saying that MVP is important to me is not in any way taking away the success of our team. So I do think Tatum's mentality is still number 1, win the championship. Number 2, win MVP. I mean, that'd be a hell of a season. But first things first, you got to get that ring. This does seem like Tatum's best year to do it. The Celtics look better than they did last year, which is unreal considering they won it all last year. And Tatum's jumper looks incredible. I don't know what adjustments he made this summer, but it's paying off. So my last question here for you guys is, what does Tatum need to do to win MVP? It's your turn. Drop it down in the comment section below, and let's talk about it. As always, thank you so much for tuning in to Celtics Today by Chat Sports, and subscribe.